Where's all my rim brakes? Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I've thought about going through all the internet and just seeing which big bike brands still actually offer a rim brake bike. I am a user of rim brake bikes still and still appreciate their simplicity and the performance benefits you get from them, and now increasingly so how much cheaper the secondhand parts are to buy. So we're going to have a look on the computer together and just see if it's at all possible, and where you can actually buy a brand new rim brake bike. So on the computer now, and we're going to have a look at what companies still actually offer a rim brake bike. And it was really interesting doing this experiment because I watched David Arthur's video last year, and there was actually still quite a few available from some big household names like your Giants and your Treks, and they still had, albeit a very baseline model, but now this year it was actually really quite hard. And I'm sure I've missed heaps, so the ones I have missed, just drop them down in a comment, and because I'm interested to know as well, just to keep a little list going. The first one, it's been superseded, but the V3RS is still available in rim brakes. I know that picture is a disc brake one, but I have still found this model available in rim brakes around the place. Bike Bugs, an Australian website that I buy a fair bit of stuff off, so if they've got it, I'm sure you can find it on some slightly more niche websites as well. But they don't offer the V4RS in rim brake, so kind of cheating, kind of not, but yeah, Colnago, you can still get one in rim brake. The next one is the C68. Now, you can't actually buy the rim brake one just as of yet, but Colnago have come out and said publicly that later this year you will be able to buy a rim brake one. And I spoke to a friend who's really into his Colnagos, and he actually said as well that you can get on a waiting list as of right now, which today is the 5th of February. So you can get yourself a rim brake Colnago C68, and it would be criminal for them not to offer a rim brake C68 that you could get with Campagnolo, because that's a true aesthetic bike, and one for the cycling purists. A brand that really impressed me was Ribble. Now, I know there's a bit going on with the quality of their frames. If you keep up with Hambini and those sorts, there are some other issues potentially. But one thing I can commend them on is their offering of ranges of bikes. They still have a bike for everyone. Whereas all these other brands, they're marketing and they're pushing you towards disc brake bikes, whether you want to or not, because you just simply cannot buy a rim brake bike, even if you just wanted to get one. Even if disc brake bikes were wildly better, some people might just want to pick rim brakes, and that's okay, but they don't have that choice. Ribble give you the full choice, and one thing I'm really impressed by is that you can actually buy a Dura-Ace spec Di2 12-speed bike, and that is quite uncommon these days. So yeah, full credit to Ribble. Keep making rim brake bikes, because I reckon there's a market there for it, and in a capitalist world, they're there to make money, and I do think there's a lot of people left who would still go out and buy a new rim brake bike. I genuinely do. So I think keep offering. The next one is Pinarello. Again, not a rim brake picture, but you can see here they say B638 rim. So I think if you get this Pinarello Dogma F, they call it the My Way. If you get it in the My Way spec, I reckon you could call up, ask, talk to your distributor, say, look, I want a rim brake one. Can you please make it for me? And they will. I've seen a Dogma F in rim brake as well, floating around. Awesome bike. Pinarello do a great job with their rim brake bikes, and I'm always impressed by them. So yeah, beautiful bike. but you're gonna need deep pockets. But you can get one. A little bit less of a race bike sort of spec, but I mean it would still do a great job racing if you did want to race on it. But Cinelli offer a fair few rim brake bikes, but mainly in this Nemo Tig frame, which I think is steel or aluminium. I'm not sure, but yeah, a nice bike. They don't offer any of their carbon range in rim brakes, which sucks, but again, you can still buy a rim brake bike from Cinelli. Another company still offering race bikes in rim brake is Basso, which again is really great to see. I love seeing companies offer their top model bike in rim brake because that's where the real performance is. Our top spec rim brake bike is fantastic to ride, and it's an absolute pleasure every time I ride one. But you just can't get top range rim brake bikes anymore. So it's so good to see companies like Basso and like Pinarello still offering, and Ribble, still offering their top spec rim brake bike. Again though, this is going to be a really expensive bike, so it's not easy for a lot of consumers to go out and buy, which is disappointing, but the option is still there, and that is the best thing about it. I also like with Basso how you can really slam these stems, get them well below the headset there. Really aggressive position, really fast too. My personal favourite, and a bike I do actually own, is I own a Time Alpe Huez, but you can get both their Scylon and their Alpe Huez in a rim brake model. Could not recommend Time enough. They are the best. Great to see they still offer a rim brake bike. Their build quality is fantastic. I've never had any problems with the Time. I can see when I was putting the bike together just how much care was taken when they made it. The tolerances are fantastic. Hambini has heaps of videos about Times. Go and watch them, and you'll see what I mean. But yeah, can still get rim brake frame set from Time, which is fantastic. Next is a CAAD 13, another bike I actually own. Awesome bike, $4,800 though for a Ultegra equipped alloy wheel build. Probably getting a little bit much. I bought my frame set for this for around the $1,000 Aussie dollar mark. And then built it up with a second-hand rim brake group set, and that's a great bike. I train on that one. I use it on my indoor trainer as well, just because I don't love putting carbon bikes on the indoor trainer. But yeah, this bike rides fantastically, and the direct mount rim brakes on it are fantastic. Direct mount rim brakes needed more time in the spotlight than they got. It's kind of a shame that as they were just starting to come in, so were disc brakes, and the direct mount rim brakes got phased out so quickly. So yeah, another great option. And lastly, Canyon still offer two very base spec Canyon Endurances in rim brake. It's a shame that they don't offer at least the Ultimate in rim brake, because the Ultimate's meant to be their climbing bike. Super lightweight, but you know they only offer it in disc brake now. It'd be fantastic to see how light they could get a Canyon Ultimate with their new high modulus carbon. The same material they're building their current disc brake model out of, which is super light, and that's with disc brakes. Imagine how light they'd be able to get it with rim brakes. And look, I'm not fully marketed and hyped about lightweight. I appreciate a lightweight bike and how it rides, but I mean, I personally love seeing how far sometimes they can push it, and how far you can push it in the weight department is always won by a rim brake bike. So yeah, that's the new bikes you can buy from retailers if you wanted a new bike. I guess For me, though, the best way to buy a rim brake bike is to go secondhand, go onto Facebook Marketplace, and buy yourself a top of the range rim brake bike from maybe 2 or 3 years ago, 2019, 2020. That bike will be significantly better than any other. So, yeah, that's my tip. And look, happy to have a conversation in the comments below. What are you thinking? Are you still riding rim brakes? Are you switching to disc brakes? Yeah, let me know.